you again for joining us, and Donna, please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Danilo. I wanted to start by telling you a story about the first time I met Manuel, or Manolo. It was at RCC, and I think this was it had to be at least 10 years ago. You weren't there yet, Danielle. And I was giving a talk with Bob Selman. Some of you might know him from the ed school, and I don't even remember why I was invited, but I gave a talk about dignity, one of my books. And after the panel was finished, we all went into, that little room there where we have coffee and goodies and all of that. And I'm pouring myself some coffee, and I turn around, and I see this bright light walking toward me. He was like, and I thought, whoa. It was, he was like a beam of bright light. He was unbelievable. I mean, you have this smile. Oh, where's the smile? That's Bill. Sorry, Bill.
You smiling too?
Yeah, Bill's smiling. Okay. But you all know that smile. All of us know that smile. And he came rushing up to me and said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that you are doing this dignity work." He said, "It's an answer to a big question that I had about motivations." And he was just so excited. He was like, and I thought, okay, this is great. Yeah, wonderful. And he said, we have to collaborate. We have to collaborate because this is the missing piece in my analysis of how people are motivated. And so I said, great. And then that was the first time we had met. And then I don't know, I guess he must have been there at RCC more than just for that talk, but and then we met at Henrietta's table all the time, and we tried to figure out how to integrate the dignity work. And so it was just one of those joyful moments that just kept going with him. You never got tired of seeing that bright light. And I know he's here with us today. I know he is. I invited him. I said, please, I need your help. And he always answers, He always says, sure, I'll be there to help you. So I just wanted to share that because honestly, that light is so bright and it's never going to be extinguished. He brings it to us here today. We're all going to be focusing on him today. And he, in terms of my task here, by the way, I'm not management. My specialty is international conflict resolution, so I've got notes here, and I don't know all of the ins and outs of the theory, but he did write this wonderful book about motivations, and in the first chapter, I'm supposed to talk about the first and second chapter. In the first chapter, he said, look, these theories of motivation, he felt really needed an update, because he didn't think that the theories actually spoke to all of the deeper levels of reasons why people do what they do, why they're motivated to do what they do. And so he starts out by talking about the distinction between extrinsic and intrinsic motivations. Extrinsic motivations, the motivations that come from the outside, you get your degrees, you get all of the external complexities around why you might choose to take one path over the other. But then he also talked about the internal, and this guy's name was Frederick Herzberg, who came up with this original theory of intrinsic, extrinsic motivation. But then he talked about Maslow's theory of needs, and which I was a lot more familiar with. But Maslow, as you probably all know, he talked about some basic physiological needs that we all have as human that motivate us to do things, which are food, shelter, and all of the physical characteristics of making a human. And then he goes all the way up to what he called self-actualization needs, where the people are motivated to do things based on their desire to develop and to learn and to grow. So now, Manolo said in his first chapter, he said, well, if these two theories are correct, one was the extrinsic, intrinsic, and then Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where they had the physiological needs at the core and then higher aspirational needs of the self-development at the top, self-actualization, then they should be compatible. He said they should be compatible. So he integrated the two, the outer and the inner, the extrinsic and the intrinsic, as well as a look at the inner and outer. No, is that right? No, not inner and outer, but what?
Intrinsic.
No, the lower needs and the higher needs.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So he created this matrix with all of these levels of needs combining, and he said, "Oh, this is just great. This is great." And here's what the way he tested these theories of his. He asked his students. He would say, "Okay, give me an example of why you would take this course." And leave it to Manolo, right, to want to engage them in a way that was meaningful to them. Not he presenting all of these grand theories as a professor, but he, in the beginning, wanted to engage his students and make them feel like a part of that is so Manolo. And so he was asking all his students all these questions, and he got them, using this matrix that he got them to reflect on their own reasons why they do things. And he really felt that it could be a great tool for self-reflection and even growth in new learning. But then he asked, wait a minute, is there anything that's missing here in these motivations, the extrinsic and intrinsic focus? He said, I think there's something missing. And so the second chapter opens when he's talking about how he always goes into elevators and listens to the conversations that people are having in the elevator, and he's wondering, how would we classify the concern about the way the boss is treating them? How would we classify somebody not doing the right thing or treating you fairly? So he was concerned about, there's a moral dimension here in these motivations. People want to be treated well. People want to be experience their professors especially as doing the right thing on their students' behalf. And so he started thinking about this moral dimension, and he said this was the missing piece. This is what's missing here. And so I love that. I just love that elevator, like he's eavesdropping on everybody's conversation. And so then he realized, okay, we've got to introduce this moral dimension, and he brings in Aristotle. This is our Manolo. This is what he does. He brings in Aristotle, and he says, we are really motivated, we humans, to experience and to attain the good. And Aristotle talked about 3 different kinds of goods. Of course, I don't remember them now, but
Useful.
Yeah, thank you very much. And he said, basically, we want this because we want a good life. We want to flourish. We want to evolve and develop into the best human beings that we can. And this is really important to us, that we be in relationship in a way where we are being treated like we are, we're special human beings. And this is where my work comes in, because the focus that I've made on dignity is all about the way people want to be treated. And he talked about this as an extrinsic motivation, that people want to be treated as if they matter. People want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be listened to, cared for, like you were saying about Manolo. He's so good at it. And he thought that we all really, that part of a universal human desire was to be engaged with people in a way that really develops the moral good and that enhances the moral good. He says we share a universal desire to receive the moral good. We all want that, to be treated that way. And of course, when we're not and these are all the elevator conversations about ways in which the bosses or the managers weren't treating them well. He says that the first thing to go in a relationship with your boss when you're not being treated well is trust. And when trust breaks down, that's when all hell breaks loose. That is like the worst, because in order to regain and reignite that relationship of trust, he thinks it takes, recognition, rectification, and reparation. And the problem with breaking trust is that people want to feel like they can be vulnerable with their bosses and their managers, but when they can't, when vulnerability becomes a liability for people, he said this is the worst thing that can happen when trust breaks down. We cannot feel vulnerable. We can't be our authentic selves for whatever reason. And so this desire to receive the moral good, as Manolo puts it dovetailed beautifully with the dignity work. And one of the things that I did, which he was so excited about, was I operationalized dignity. So what does it look like? How do you treat people if you want to treat them with dignity? And in my research, I found that people want their identity accepted, no matter who they are, their race, religion, ethnicity, etc. They want to be recognized for the good work that they've done. They want recognition for the contributions that they've made to the workplace. They want to be understood. They don't want people to rush to judgment about who they are. They want safety, which is a huge one. People want to feel safe in the environment. And again, when trust breaks down, that's when safety also is challenged as well. And what else? Let's see, recognition, belonging. People want that sense of belonging. And so all these things are what leaders need to be thinking about when, come in. There are a few others too. That people want to be given the benefit of the doubt. They want to be thought of as having integrity. And people want an apology. They want an apology when something bad happens and let's say somebody mistreats them. People want to hear, I'm sorry. But it's not just, I'm sorry. It's also, I'm going to work really hard at not doing that again. Because you can apologize 100 times and then nothing changes. Fairness is another one. Autonomy, people don't like to be micromanaged. So I think at the end, Manolo, at the end of the second chapter, he came to the conclusion that, yes, this extrinsic desire for the moral good, to be treated with dignity, is really a powerful addition to these theories of motivation. But then, of course, what does he do? He closes the chapter by saying, well, yes, we all want to receive the moral good. We want to be treated well. But what about an intrinsic moral good, developing our own inner moral good, where we're not just receiving it, but we're also giving it, and we're embodying it. So that's the end of my my thing. But I want to say, I'm excited to hear what he's going to say. Kevin, do you have the next? Okay.
Yes.